What's up, y'all? This is Chitty Bang, and I'm on the Renegade Millionaire show, the podcast that profiles entrepreneurs, founders, and CEOs. Join us as we go one-on-one inside the hearts and minds of some of our generation's best and brightest. And now, introducing your host, my friend, Sun Group Wealth Partners Managing Director, CNBC and Forbes.com contributor, Winnie Sun.
Hey, it's Winnie Sun, and I'm coming to you from the Renegade Millionaire show here from Venice Beach in TuneIn Studios. I am founder and managing partner of Sun Group Wealth Partners, wealth investment planning firm based here in Southern California. Take a moment to follow me on Twitter at SunGroupWP and check for my posts on Forbes. But with this, I'm super excited for today's interview. I've been actually looking forward to her for weeks. I've been following her on all sorts of things, especially on Twitter, where she just has a huge following. She can only be introduced as really a mystical being. I saw her cape actually when she walked in, and at a very 20-some years old, my friend Chelsea Krost.
Hello.
Thank you for joining.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming. I know it's crazy. You're flying all over. You are, first off, let me kind of run down. You are not only beautiful, but you are generous and kind.
Thank you.
And for those of you who are listening, I strongly suggest that you go ahead and pull up her website right now so you can get a visual of what she looks like. And the website address is?
ChelseaKrost.com.
Great. She is one dynamic and beautiful young lady. So Chelsea, I'll give you kind of just a cliff notes on who she is. She's the Chief Creative Officer and co-founder of Mpulse. Her newest project, Mpulse, is a news app by millennials for millennials. She's been coined as the Twitter chat queen by Upstart Business Journal. And I guess it's an agency focused on powerful content, but I don't want to talk about it. I think it's better that you explain it to our listeners.
You know, it all started, my career really started because I wanted to do something to empower this generation. At 16 years old, this was 8 years ago, I just turned 24 in February. Everything was Lindsay Lohan, Nicole Richie, and Paris Hilton. They were the Kardashians at the time. They were 90 pounds. They were getting DUIs. They were not necessarily in the limelight for the best reasons. Yes, they were very fun to watch on The Simple Life. I don't know if you remember that show.
Absolutely.
But I mean, guilty pleasure to the max, but you know, when my mentors, my idols, like Oprah and Barbara Walters and Diane Sawyer.
So much older than you, by the way.
So much older than me. My mom always called me elephant ears because I was that little girl who was always listening to the adult conversations and then wanting to get in on the conversation.
I love that.
I was just very inquisitive and always asking questions, very dubious little child, sometimes annoying because I was always, kind of challenging the adults. Like, well, why is the sun yellow? And what makes the sky blue? I was just always, ready to learn and explore and investigate. And I was so disappointed because all of the people that I looked up to started to talk about the teenagers. The word millennial did not exist at the time.
Right.
They started talking about the teenagers in the most negative, depressing, really, really just horrible way. They were calling us the demise of the future.
Right.
And I was like, well, that's not fair. Have they met every single teenager
That's right.
in the country, let alone the world, to really look at Nicole Richie, Paris Hilton, and Lindsay Lohan and think they are the epitome of this generation?
Right.
And I was in a public school in South Florida, and I was a junior in high school, and I looked at myself, all of my friends. Everyone was studying so hard for their SATs and ACTs. Everyone had a list this long of what colleges they wanted to send their applications to. Everyone knew somewhat what kind of field they wanted to be in, whether it was a lawyer, a doctor, publicist, author, you name it. Everyone was very career-driven. And I said, there really is no motivating platform or even fun but empowering platform for teenagers today.
Or supportive.
Yeah. The internet was not what it is today. There was no social media. There was no internet radio. There was no YouTube. And there were no influencers. There's so many great young dynamic influencers today that we could collaborate with, look up to, learn from, be inspired by. It didn't exist. What we had was 16 and pregnant at the time on MTV.
That's right.
And, I don't know how many moms were thrilled about that television show either, talking about this, the teenagers in this kind of light.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I was in television production in high school, and I just sat down. Me and my mom were literally having bagels and coffee. And I said, Mom, I'm thinking about doing a radio show. All things teenagers. Of course, I want to have experts on the show shedding light on whether we're talking about bullying, whether we're talking about STDs, whether we're talking about skincare. Obviously, the teenagers are not the experts.
Correct.
But I want to generate conversation.
Yes.
I want to empower. I want to feel like we have a voice. We could share our opinions, share our thoughts, come together, have fun, learn, have a great time.
And what did Mom say?
My mom looked at me and she said, how do we do it?
I love this. I love your mom.
She's the coolest lady ever. Actually, I tried to get her to come to the studio with me today. She's visiting me in Los Angeles right now. But she comes from a PR, marketing, and advertising background.
There you go. So she knows.
So it kind of kicked in for her again. And she taught me everything about PR. She taught me about marketing. She taught me about networking. So I really learned so much from her growing up. I still learn. I still bounce everything off of her.
Yeah. So Mom gave you your PhD in marketing.
She really did. She really did. And so we literally put together a radio show treatment, and I took it to Clear Channel in South Florida. And I'll never forget him. His name is Ken Harris, and he said, Chelsea, how am I supposed to trust a 16-year-old to one, host a live radio show,
right,
to be present every week, and also our demographic here in South Florida is 60 plus.
Right.
How are we supposed to appeal to the teenagers?
Little.
And I said, Ken, I am going to make AM radio cool again. I'm going to bring you a whole nother demographic, but I can't promise you anything. You have to just give me a chance, and I will make you proud.
Aww.
And he got up out of the room, he left, and I was like, okay, is that my exit? Like, did I blow this? Did I totally blow this? And he came back in 10 minutes later with a contract saying, I want to help you start your career.
Oh, my goodness.
And that was it. I went for it. And when I look back at my 16-year-old self, I was like, I don't know where I got the cojones to really go for it. But sometimes being a little young, a little naive, fear doesn't get in your way.
No, fear doesn't come into the picture until you have kids. So this is perfect.
Yeah. So now, over the past 8 years, it's just been a beautiful snowball of success. And I can't even believe the things that I've been able to do over the past 8 years. I've been working with brands like Cosmopolitan, to Intel, to Microsoft, to MasterCard, to TurboTax, to Suave. I mean, working as spokesperson, ambassador, consultant, but also, on-air talent.
Yes.
And host, but writer, producer, creative, everything you see is because of the work that I put into it.
All the hard work.
Yeah. And I started to realize that millennials just don't watch the news anymore. 70% of the news, 70% of millennials feel like the news is just depressing. But
it is.
It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's about another plane crash, another terrorism attack. Someone's gotten raped. Mm-hmm. It's just like, it's just always so depressing.
Negative. Yeah.
And negative. / millennials get their news via social media today.
Right. Because it's so much more efficient.
So much more efficient, so much more effective. It's so much easily shareable. I'm sure once this link is, ready for this show, we'll be sharing it via social media.
Right, exactly.
So I said we need to think backwards. We need to reverse engineer our thought, and we need to generate content coming from the trends being predicted on social media.
Right.
And see what people are asking more of, what people are really tuning into, what's captivating their attention, and then create more content around that.
So how did you do that? How did you go about researching these topics that would be of interest?
So over the past 8 years, aside from being a millennial myself and just listening to, the ebbs and flows and the conversations amongst all of my peers and speaking to them on a weekly basis through Twitter chats, through, weekly social media interaction, but also through the radio show, the TV program, I realized that there's always a social issue or a trend or breaking news entertainment that millennials want to talk about and are, hungry for more information for.
So what are they hungry for right now?
So on the more deeper things, on the aside from Justin Bieber making a comeback or whatever, millennials are graduating with an average of $30,000 worth of student loan debt. Mm-hmm. And especially speaking to someone like yourself, it's like, how do we help this generation? Because I feel like this student loan debt bubble is about to burst.
Yes.
You have tuition costs that are through the roof and loans just being lent out,
It's crazy. I was just looking at someone's, a person on my staff, she just brought me her statement. Her loan interest rate is 6.8%. I just think that's a crime. How can banks and financial institutions lend for almost 7% right now when the Fed rate is almost like nothing. It's a complete insult. I mean, are we trying to basically take advantage of our young people? How can they even see past that? Because I mean, this is literally yesterday. She's like, Winnie, my debt's like 60-some thousand. I said, you know what? Actually, that's not that bad compared to when I graduated from school. But the only difference is my rate was like in the 7% range, but everything else was so much higher. So I completely agree with you. So this is a big thing, right, that millennials are thinking about.
And think about the ripple effect that debt has. So now the conversation, so then there's all these sub-conversations happening just because of the student loan crisis alone. Is college education even worth it today?
Yeah.
We
could talk about that for hours.
Totally. Do we just move into, the career space and just get experience?
For
or
sure.
is it worth it to go get your 4-year degree? Then does that what is better? Like weighing the pros and cons. Is experience more valuable or is the college education more valuable? This is a whole debate here.
It's a whole debate. And it's really hard to say. As a parent, I have 3 kids. My oldest is in kindergarten. And, I told my husband the same, exactly what you're talking about. I said, honey, when the kids are all in school, I'm going to start pulling them out. And he says, why? I said, because, we need to travel because I think education goes way beyond the walls of classrooms. And
yes.
I'm sure the schools are gonna kill me for this. But the truth of the matter is that I really believe as parents, and today with information going so quickly, by the time it's in our textbooks, it's already old news.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And think about where we are right now in society, how tech is so influential in all aspects of life. And we're coming out of school, even if you're in marketing or PR alone, so much of marketing PR is social strategy.
Absolutely.
Right? And as we continue to get more mobile and even more social and more tech oriented, it's
I like
kind of
that, digi.
yeah, I mean, that's what millennials are. We're digital natives. So for all of these, publicists and marketing majors and even advertising majors to come out of school and not have a whole course on social marketing alone or even influencer strategy, and all the nooks and crannies of what you could do in the social space to just spread brand awareness, it's like that's experience.
So that's
you're
your
not
need.
learning it in the class.
So this is what I find very interesting by you because you're now a very old 24, 8 years of experience. But I joke because, of course, that's very young. But you have a significant amount of experience. I mean, I know I was joking when you walked in, but really you do have a PhD in social media marketing and in the millennial space. And something companies spend millions of dollars in research to try and find out what's in right between your little ears right now. So maybe we could talk a little bit about Mpulse because this to me is exciting. You had shared the deck with me just briefly, and to be completely honest with you, I read through it, but not quite enough. So I was hoping to hear from you.
Yep. So the Mpulse, actually my co-founder, his name's Greg Goldner, absolutely adore him. Him and I met via Twitter.
No kidding.
So in the most millennial fashion, we met via Twitter. I was still living on the East Coast. I was living in New York at the time. He was living in LA at the time. And I reached out to him because he had just co-authored a book on millennials. And I wanted to have him on my radio show. So that's how we met, and I ended up coming out to LA, and we, immediately hit it off because we actually started sharing frustration stories.
No way.
The Mpulse was born on frustration stories. And the frustration stories were that, he had come from big networks. I mean, I'm talking Fox Sports, Access Hollywood, which is Mark Cuban's network, and I had worked for, various different agencies.
And Greg's young too, right?
He's 32, millennial.
Okay.
Yes, and what we were both sharing with each other is that, you have these studio heads and you have these big conglomerates that are still so old-fashioned. They're still so scared of social media. They're still so scared of influencers. They don't understand how to tap into the influencer market or take even a risk. Like I won't name names here, but I have had to bend over backwards begging and pleading people to do a Twitter chat with me.
Please let me show you what I can do.
And it's like, why don't you want to spread brand awareness? And it's all about your consumer. It's all about building brand loyalty, and this is how you do it via Twitter chat because you can get interactive, you can get intimate, and it's a two-way conversation. On television, even here on radio, you and I are speaking, but the people listening, all they're doing is listening right now.
Yes, right.
So
it's one directional.
Exactly. It's a conversation, and it's all about making things conversational. And we both have, various skill sets with writing, marketing, producing, social, and we have great influencer friends, and we said, why don't we tap our influencer, network to be our content creators and produce content that is so relevant to the millennials and that millennials are in desperate need of, like how to reduce your student loan debt, how to save for your first time home buying. Oh, I want to buy my girlfriend an engagement ring, but I don't know the first thing about diamonds.
That's a great question.
I want to build my personal brand. How do I even start? Because I still am in a 9-to-5 job because I have to pay the bills. These are all things that millennials are trying to figure out, sometimes on their own, but we want to be there to say, okay, I want this type of information. I'm going to go to the Mpulse because I know I will find it.
Yeah, I love it. So the app is called Mpulse. I tried to...
Yep, the app is not launched yet.
Okay, that's good because
Yep.
I was looking for it before our show to show, but I couldn't find it.
We are incredibly new. We've actually been in our, in fundraising for the past 6 months, which is a
Okay.
whole, MBA crash course in itself. The whole
Right.
business.
You should have called me. I could have helped you with it. I have information. I have knowledge on that.
It's never too late. We're still in an active raise while launching our creative agency. Because the beautiful thing is that we're acting as an agency, but also a news resource. I hate the word news because it's so old fashioned, but there's really no other word. Right?
All the journalists right now listening are cringing when you say this.
It's like news/content, but it's just. There's no other word for news. If anyone
It's really-
listening has
yeah.
an alternative word for news, tweet me at Chelsea Krost because I would love to know.
You should.
Yeah.
Everybody should tweet her.
We're on a hunt for, kind of pioneering a new term for the future because news is just a little archaic,
Yeah.
So we create content for big brands, big agencies, big, digital sites, as well as on behalf of influencers who are looking to build brand awareness and really launch
Sign me
a
up.
big campaign. And so once we go live, which I don't have our exact live date, depending on, of course, our investment raise. And there's a lot of exciting things happening, but hopefully within the next 6 months. But our agency is live. So we actually create content on behalf of other brands right now. It's just not on the Mpulse platform.
That's incredible.
Yes.
So you anticipate this app to be available when?
I think within the next 6 months.
Very good.
Our agency is active. We're taking in clients right now. But once we're actually because what the Mpulse is, it'll be all original programming. So all the content that you see will be generated on behalf of the Mpulse and our influencers, who are our reporters, essentially.
Right.
When people go, what's an influencer? I say, think modern day reporter.
Someone very social. Who likes to
very
share.
social, who's
Yeah.
so, savvy in a specific field, whether it's eco or politics or fashion or beauty or finance, and who also has a network. They are influential because of their network of people. So, all of our content creation is actually happening in our studio in Santa Monica. We're, right by Hulu and Google and Red Bull.
Which I get to visit in a couple weeks. I'm really excited
Yes,
about that.
we'll take some pictures once you're in the office. But we're also, out and about in the field creating content, but also trying to be, where the news is happening. So Fashion Week's in New York. We want our fashion influencers to be, live
Very
from New
cool.
York, thanks to Meerkat and, all
Yeah.
of these live streaming softwares that we have now, which is like live streaming is the coolest,
The coolest thing. I love it.
The coolest.
I totally love it.
I just got back from South by Southwest, and Meerkat was like
The biggest
over.
thing, right?
Yes.
So actually, 2 days ago, we went to visit my. I've worked with DreamWorks clients at DreamWorks for years, and on our way back, we're stuck in LA traffic, and I was in the back seat with one of my best friends, who's she's from Bravo Networks, the
Okay.
TV show Top Chef,
Yeah.
Shirley. So two of us sitting back there. I'm like, Shirley, let's go ahead and do live chat here. It's gonna be so much fun. And literally, we did Meerkat, and like all these people are asking, and she was like, she had never done this. I'm like, sure, this is the future. People want to hear from us and what we're thinking while we're sitting in the back of traffic.
Impromptu, real,
Yeah.
raw, relatable, live.
fun.
People love that, and I think that's also going, us talking about what our content looks like at the Mpulse. Like, it doesn't have to be completely buttoned up, It's like that live, real, relatable, happening now. It's literally pulsing. You could feel
So
the
honest.
energy. Yeah, it's all about the transparency and being authentic, especially amongst this generation.
Yes, you are like my dream little sister because I'm just getting just goosebumps hearing you talk about this also because this is really the direction things are going. But I think so many people, even myself in some ways, feel like our day-to-day job keep us from being engaged in this way. But this is the future. So tell me about this. I want to really hear about this Twitter party
Oh,
What
yeah.
is a Twitter party? I'm sure a lot of people don't know what this is.
I kind of feel like I've gone back to the time where I was educating people on what millennials were, and now it's like just a very, big buzzword. And now it's the next thing is me shedding light on what Twitter chats are, which is
Right.
awesome because they're the coolest thing ever. So a Twitter chat, think, a Q&A, an interview, but where everybody gets involved, and it happens via social media. So if, for example, you and I were talking, all things finances, taxes, savings, budgeting, Roth IRAs, 401k plans, all
Which
the,
we are soon, I
which
think,
we're
for
going
the,
to
the
do.
money tips thing.
Exactly,
Yeah.
happening March 31st, 5 o'clock Pacific time. It's going to be a dynamic chat.
Awesome.
We would construct the questions in advance. And of course, the questions have to be constructed so that everybody who partakes in the chat can chime in.
Sure.
And it is just one big conversation happening around one hashtag. Our hashtag's hashtag Millennial Talk. So everybody uses hashtag Millennial Talk, which allows you to follow the conversation. I use the website tweetchat.com or twubs.com. So all you have to do is log in with your Twitter account, type in the hashtag that you're using for the Twitter chat. Ours will be hashtag Millennial Talk. And all the conversation gets filtered for you right there. So it's kind of, it's like very overwhelming to think, how do I actually use Twitter to do a Twitter chat? Using TweetChat and Twubs just filters all the conversation happening in that chat. And we do it, Q1, Q2, Q3. So you could literally follow the conversation within the hour. And there are a lot of sub-conversations happening at one time. There's a lot of networking happening at one time. And you have all these like-minded individuals, talking about one topic. It's a great place to network. I see all the people sharing DMs and saying, oh, I would love to collaborate with you, which is just super awesome.
It's so beautiful.
It's a really, really cool experience, and it's very hard to explain it. You just have to
do it.
Join it.
Yeah, I've done a couple, and I was surprised by for one thing, your adrenaline starts to move.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Because you see all these tweets moving, you're like, oh my gosh, I need to participate and answer that question and this question, and they're asking me this, and but then it was also surprising quiet. You know what I mean? Because unlike a party where you can't hear everybody, here you can read everything. So.
I have a Twitter chat, what's it called? Warm up. So I usually have 3 screens open at one time because
goodness.
I usually have my handle open, my expert, my guest handle open, and then just just
poor
one
eyes.
other one. And I'm literally going back and forth in between all the 3
Like
screens.
playing a piano.
And I have music bumping, and I am
Do
just
you?
in the zone.
Okay,
Oh yeah.
that's what I gotta do. I gotta have music bumping the next time.
Music
Okay, so the
bumping.
31st, I'm gonna make sure I got my sonos going, on my tune in music going.
Oh yeah, people like to share their Twitter chat setup. People pour themselves a glass of wine.
Yeah,
I know a lot of
very
people put their
cool.
children down before the chat because it's also 8 o'clock Eastern time,
Yeah,
and we
yeah.
have a big bicoastal presence. So people are all right, got my hot chocolate ready.
So you do this every week? 'Cause
Every
I
single
want to
Tuesday.
participate in one of yours. So Tuesday.
Yes.
So everyone should join in.
We had
Can everybody join in?
Everybody can join
Okay,
in.
everybody can join in. I am joining in. I hope you will join me
Yes.
too.
Every single Tuesday, 5 Pacific, 8 Eastern.
5
There's
Pacific.
always a new topic, always a new batch of guests, experts. If we're talking finances, we of course have a financial expert. For example, last week we did productivity in the workplace, how to actually be most productive in the workplace.
That's really interesting. I like that.
I was so excited because you feel like you're very productive, but you don't realize how distracting certain things are. How many times do you check your email a day?
Oh, I know.
It's a crazy exercise.
crazy.
If you haven't done it, literally time yourself one day how much you actually spent just answering or checking emails.
That's fascinating. That was last Tuesday?
That was this past Tuesday. And we were
so
trending.
we missed it.
We were trending. We had an amazing career coach. We did it with IBM because they have this new amazing email system that they're launching called IBM Verse, and it's supposed to give you back an hour of your day.
Oh, all of us could use an extra hour, right?
I'm all about that.
Oh, love it, love it.
Yes.
Have you tried it yet? Just for that, I'm going to have to try it.
I was asked to go to one of their releases of IBM Verse where they actually, shared with you everything that the software is capable of doing.
Very
I
cool.
don't think it's out for the public use quite yet, but it is coming.
Oh, wow.
And
Look
I
out,
mean,
Microsoft.
Anything to give you an hour back of your day. I
Yes.
mean, why not at least try it, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. You always have to try tech at least once.
Exactly.
Well, let me ask you this. So, What's something that most people don't know about you, Chelsea?
Ooh, I like that question. You know what? I really like that question because I think a lot of people go, oh, 24, she's done a lot. I think people either think one or two things. 24, what does this girl possibly know? Or 24, look at all the things that she's done. She's got it together.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that I'm in between all the time. I'm always constantly evolving and trying to figure it out and also figure out that work-life balance. It's because think about it, when you're so ingrained in social media, you can't shut social media off unless you literally just delete the app for a day, which who's going to do that? It doesn't shut off. If you're a radio talk show host, you're in the studio from whenever to whenever, but social, it's just 24/7.
It's a full-time job.
It's a full-time job, and then the fact that I do work in media. Like yesterday, I literally found out that I had to fly to New York.
Yes.
So then I'm completely honest. Like in no way, shape, or form am I perfect. I make tons of mistakes. I'm still trying to figure life out. I am on a mission to find my work-life balance. My co-founder, Greg Goldner, his mother's name's Jane Goldner, and she wrote a book. And I love it. And it's not about having it all. It's about finding your all. And as soon as I saw the title, I was like, yes, because everyone's on this mission to, find, their all. And it's like, it's not a one size fits all model anymore,
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the things that people might not necessarily know about me is that I am the biggest nerd you've ever met. I am so goofy. I am so silly. A lot of people see me having to be in my blazer, sharing the facts or shedding light on the important information. But
Because when you meet, like I'm sitting in front of you and you're beautiful and cute, and I'm just thinking like, if I were in school with her at the same time, I would be like, Chelsea, you're my best friend. We're gonna hang out and do everything together because you're so fun. So
I love to have fun. I am such a girl's girl. I'm such a guy's girl. I'm so not about the bullying and the drama, and never was. And I get bullied all the time on social media because you put yourself out there, and people are subject. Freedom of speech. They could judge, right? And they could share it. So I think
there's no place for that. It's just not necessary. People spread the love. Spread the love for Chelsea. Okay, we should be loving everybody.
I'm also, one thing like I'm completely, absolutely crazy nervous for the launch of Mpulse because I am so scared of failure. Failure is not in my vocabulary.
No, failure is a gift. I'm telling you from an older person, every failure is a gift. When you hit 40, I've turned 40. When you hit 40, you become like Yoda. And I look at everything, I'm like, oh, thank goodness all those bad things happened to me because
you learned from it.
Yeah, you learn from it.
You do. There's been a lot of I've had way more no's in my career than yeses, and I've always learned from them.
And
but
you're only 24, which is beautiful.
Only 24. Sometimes I don't feel like it at times, but you know what? The thing is that I am just trying to figure it out, even though it looks like things might be in place. Like it is, every day is a new day and a learning lesson for me, and I totally acknowledge that all the time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think you have more experience than some 50, 60-year-olds that I've worked with. So this is all true. Well, this is going to be. I'm hoping nobody's ever asked this of you. But,
okay.
So, since because we are kind of renegade millionaire, what does retirement look to you like?
Like what age?
Well, it could be age, but what do you perceive yourself doing in retirement if you ever going to retire?
If I ever am going to retire, I mean, I hope that me working so hard at so young means that maybe at some point in time I'll be able to live the good life.
Okay, what does that look like to you?
To me, you know what? When I think about being financially fit, right, whatever that means, it means that I just don't have to worry about
You don't have to worry about money, right?
Yeah, and why I want to make money in my life is because I want to travel, just like what your husband said. I got a very big taste of travel at a young age.
You went to Africa too, right?
I went to Africa when I was 18. I've been back 3 times since.
Oh, wow.
I have family in South Africa. I've been to South Africa as well as,
Very
Central
cool.
Africa, Peru. I've been all over the Mediterranean and Italy and Greece and Barcelona. And I've gotten I feel like you either get the travel bug or it's just not your thing. And all I want to do is see everything and witness all the food and the culture and the people and the scenery and everything fascinates me. I also think like there should be, studying abroad is one of the most amazing gifts
things,
that a
yes.
college student has, and I didn't have that opportunity because of work.
Well, you got picked up so soon. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's my retirement for me is having the money to be able to travel and to travel where I want, when I want, however long I want, and do it in style, of course.
You're so cute. I love it. And not only that, I mean, the business you're building, I think is just so conducive to that. I would think that it would actually be profitable for you to be doing the next generation of social media from wherever country or small village or wherever you are. Right?
Absolutely. Well, the Mpulse has an amazing network of influencers across the country. So we have like a built-in influencer network of about 2 million people.
Oh, my goodness.
But our goal is to also have those dynamic influencers in Asia, in Spain,
Africa,
in Africa, in Mexico, in Australia, so that we are truly this global new term of news network of the future that's completely social, collaborative, and accessible for all walks of life. With it, because we have resources to communicate with people like we never used to have. It's so accessible. I look at the Twitter chat analytics after every chat, and I can't even believe from England, from the Middle East, from Australia, from Africa, people are tuning in.
That's
and
incredible.
It's because it's amazing how social brings you that much closer to someone who's also so far away.
Yeah.
So, travel is everything, truly.
I mean, what you said is incredible because you're reaching all these people, you're making relationships so that let's say you were to go to Asia, you could actually get together with all the people that have been attending your Twitter parties all these years.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like you don't have to worry. That's so fascinating because I just went to New York City, same kind of idea. I basically reach out to all the people that I've been in communication with all this time that I haven't met.
Yep.
And it's like you already have your friends wherever you go.
Yep.
It's really cool.
It's amazing how there's this like community and family that can get built on social if you choose to build that community and family. And then when you meet them in person, it's like the screen was never there. Like you really know that person. My favorite story is I had just moved to LA and I was sitting outside on Ocean having lunch at Del Frisco's, like sitting right outside.
Very cool.
And I see this cute girl jogging, like, in her sports bra and shorts, and she's jogging by, and she totally caught my eye. And then I see her back up. And I see her look inside. And I felt like she was maybe looking at me, but I was like, that would be weird because I don't know this person. And then I see her come into the restaurant in her sports bra and shorts with her headphones, sweating because she was jogging and it was summer. And she goes, "I'm sorry, are you Chelsea Krost?" And I was like, is this really happening right now?
It's
who
happening.
is this person? And she's like, I'm Ashley Stahl. We're Twitter friends. And I was like, oh my God, Ashley Stahl. It is so nice to meet you. But those types of things happen all the time now. Like,
Isn't
are
that
you
cool?
at Chelsea Krost? Now it's not are you Chelsea? It's are you at Chelsea Krost? And I was like, what's your handle? Because that's how the connection gets made. And I swear, every single person I met from social, then, into real life, I now put them in my friend category. Because those are, it's great people.
So yeah, you've evolved from just a Twitter relationship now to friend because I've seen you. That is so
I found you
awesome.
through social media.
Oh, well, thank you.
Through Money Tips, and then I was like, Winnie Sun. And then I looked at your
I needed-
profile, and I emailed our person in common, and I was like, I need to have Winnie's contact information.
Oh, you're so sweet.
But it was really through social, me going on your LinkedIn, going on your Twitter, and it's just, it's like a public kind of resume / profile, all of these social handles, which is why people should really take it seriously.
They should. I've met some of my best friends from social media, so totally incredible. And you met your business partner. So, and actually, I did make a mistake. See, when I first set up my Twitter account, which wasn't that long ago, because in my industry, you really aren't. They want us to be social, but then we can only be social, but not really social. It's like the weirdest industry. But anyway, so I actually set it up at Sun Group WP, and I should have at Winnie Sun, but now somebody else is using it, so it's too late. But
We can work on that.
we'll
find a
we'll
way.
talk offline on that. But, those of you who are interested, and those of you who are business owners and interested in reaching millennials, but not just millennials, but everybody in general, because even my 70-year-old parents on social media, you really should consider reaching out to Chelsea via Mpulse, because I think this is really interesting. As a business owner, I think I owe myself and my own business to meet with her to talk about their capabilities. And I would encourage you to do so as well. Is there anything else you want to share with our listeners before we kind of wrap? Because I know we didn't get you to LAX.
Oh, no. I mean, thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun. I love this studio.
Isn't it beautiful?
I love this studio. And I always like to connect with everyone. At Chelsea Krost is the way to find me. DM me, tweet me. I will answer.
She will answer, and she's the one that answers, and so will I. So I would encourage you to reach out to both of us, and and definitely let us know how we can improve the show. And I'm sure you're going to want Chelsea back, and I want Chelsea back. So maybe if we get enough love, we can encourage her to come back to visit us again.
And March 31st is the big financial Twitter chat. So if you're looking for more information on all things, finances, we have like 25 influential experts on this chat. It's going to be bananas.
It's going to be so cool. And I'm actually going to participate in that. So I'm really excited about that. And I'll make sure that I'm there early because, you want to make sure you're one of the first to tweet out. But thank you, Chelsea, for hanging out with us. So much incredible information. But the thing that really stuck with me amongst anything is just how genuine and kind you are.
Thank you.
I mean, and not only that is, being a media guru like she is, this is hard work. It's not all glamour and makeup and TV and cameras. It's literally hard work of always being on all the time. So
that is true. You should see my nails right now. They are not so pretty.
I know. We need to get you some
time.
Zen time. I know. So with that, I mean, I am so proud of and so impressed by you, and I hope that you've been an inspiration to me, and you certainly break the stereotypical millennial stereotype, which I think is just so inaccurate. But anyhow, most importantly, it just shows you that you can't listen to negativity, and stereotypes aren't accurate for everybody. And with that, thanks everyone for tuning in. And if you like this interview, please share our channel with your friends and colleagues. And do Chelsea and I a favor and consider sharing and spreading the word. To hear more about our past and future interviews on Renegade Millionaire or articles on Forbes, as well as media interviews, you can find me at winniesun.com and on LinkedIn and Twitter at Sun Group WP, but most importantly, Chelsea is at
Chelsea Krost.
And thanks again for tuning in to the Renegade Millionaire Show, and we'll see you next time.